Okay. Well, the first thing, when you guys go in to create a new transaction, oh shit. Okay. I created two packets that we all should be using going forward. So under here, you'll see it's called Office Listing Packet or Office Sales Packet.
Okay.
And so everyone will be using the same thing and they'll all look the same. So within these packets are, well, you'll see a working documents folder and an executed documents folder, and this is for me. Inside the working documents is where you guys can work within. You can put all your documents in there. This is for you guys in here. I don't need to look in here.
So this is the side that we've been working in all along, basically.
Yeah, and I just put these are the most common stuff you're using. Obviously everything isn't in here, but you guys can add whatever you need in here, but the most common things are in here. And so they're already there for you.
Well, that's an improvement already because, let's let Amber in. That's an improvement already because the packet that's been in there is geared towards a purchase. You can call it a listing, you can call it whatever you want, but you don't end up with the right documents, and it's just a hassle. So this is an improvement already. Great job.
And we are kind of working on these PDFs to try and get them fillable. So then maybe in the future they'll be fillable and you don't even have to print them out to get them written on and whatever. So
cool.
So the next thing is in the executed documents, these are called placeholders. And some of them you'll see they say required. And in the working documents and in the executed, they are named the same. And I'm not positive, but if you upload something into your working documents folder, that's complete, all the signatures are there, it should recognize that and automatically fill a placeholder in the executed if there is one, which that will automatically alert me. It'll send me an email that something needs approved.
That sounds consistent with the training that I sat through the other day. I believe you're right about that.
Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it needs to happen a few times for me to figure out what's happening, why it doesn't happen sometimes. If something doesn't have a placeholder in here, like if you're putting a deed in here or something, you can add stuff in here. It's not like something has to go in a placeholder. These are just there.
Now, in order for you to see it, if I bring a deed into here, where do I need to put that so you can see it, or so title or anybody else? Who else is going to have access to this?
So like Barristers doesn't have access to Zipforms.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
Basically just us. So let me go into one of my things here because.
Yeah, I'm curious too, like if you just want to store it, like you know how I like just give you receipts, just keep it on file. Do I just keep that in my regular folder, I would imagine?
So you can put that in the executed and you're basically going to send it to me for approval. It's like, it'll say needs review and I have a little stamp on it and then I'll approve it. So, and it'll just sit in there and that's all the completed stuff.
Okay.
But if you're like waiting on a signature or something else, it can all stay in the working documents because I'm not going to look in there really. I'm just going to be focusing on this. I'm trying. Anyway, so there is a stamp down here at the bottom. And once something is, like I said, sometimes they should automatically go over, but if it doesn't happen, there's a stamp here. And if you click on the stamp, you should not see these two buttons, just the managers and the admins see all of this. So all you'll do is click needs review. If you need to write a little comment to me, you can put something in here and then you hit apply. And then I get an email saying you have a document that needs approval, and I'll see how it's yellow here. And then I'll go in here and I can approve it and I can write you a little comment back and then it'll apply and then that will turn green. And that means it's good to go. Now, if you're like missing a signature or someone forgot to initial one of the pages, I'll write that back and then I won't approve it.
Okay, well, your approval in most cases is just we're putting it in there and marking it to be approved so you are in that chain and you can make a change to a date for closing or whatever, whatever the form might be.
It's like you're submitting a document to me like a paper-wise, like if you guys send me a random email with a paper, that's all. It's the same thing.
Yeah, kind of a, hey, look at this.
Yeah. So, and I'll be approving documents just to make sure they're complete and nothing's wrong with them. And then once I have everything that you're supposed to have, I will then send it to John so that he can approve it. And he's approving entire transactions.
Gotcha.
Now you can also, like, if you click on, here's the consumer notice, you can, oh, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on, go back. There, oh, here, the blue arrow. Nope. Okay. Sometimes, I don't know where, it'll say fill placeholder. And I don't know. You know why? Because it's not complete. If there was a completed document in here, which I don't have one, when you click on this little blue arrow, there will be way more options on the side there, and you can hit fill placeholder, and then I think you can select where to put it in the executed folder. There's multiple ways to get it over to that other folder.
Well, perhaps you're just opening a blank document right now.
I am, and I don't have any. I don't have any.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, pick one of the PDFs. That might have a different set of rules because, you know, it can't read those. Carmelia, have you played with this program at all? I know they covered probably some of it with you, and you're muted.
Yeah, there's been different like Zoom meetings where they put, but I haven't personally like gone in there and try to like work with a document or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you decide to go in here and just set up a test document, which I would recommend, and just play with it a little bit,
Okay.
just make sure you put in the notes. So if it does bounce over to Morgan, that this is just a test.
The test.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can do
Gotcha.
that today if you wanted to create something and just send it, and I can approve it just so you can see how it works.
Will do.
So anyway,
I would even recommend sending it to yourself to sign. Like you could do the consumer notice so that you understand what the buyer or seller is going to see and what they have to do. Because that way you'll help them.
Yep, absolutely, and help
you.
yourself, and also send it to your, you know, open it in your phone so you can see what the experience is in the phone and also on a laptop or a computer, because it is different. But it's certainly nice to be able to tell the whomever you're sending a form to that, hey, 2 clicks and you're done. It's going to come up, you review, you click to accept, you're done, and you may or may not get a chance to pick your own signature or to create your own signature, which is a big deal with people.
No.
Not as
Nobody
much
got
now
time for
as
that.
it was.
Right.
Well, you know, it's not so much an issue now, but when eDocs first rolled out, that was the biggest thing. That looks nothing like my signature. That's not the point. It's
Yeah.
it's the digital footprint that matters on this one. People are much more forgiving on that one right now. Sorry, Morgan. So I see you got fill a placeholder now.
yeah, so if you go down here and you click this, well, I'm not sure.
You don't have a lot of patience, I don't believe.
I don't, you're right. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works. Can you send things to a folder? Send.
Can you send things to it?
You can move to a folder.
You can move it.
Well, you know, there's
Maybe.
a new box or a new tab here at the top, and this doc inbox is an address where you can send things to yourself. And so it comes with its own little address.
Everyone has their own unique email address. And
Yeah,
then
but this doc inbox has its own. There it is.
Yeah.
The M. Julius 486. That's your inbox to Zipform.
So instead of sending it to your actual email and then having to put it into zip forms, you can just start sending stuff to your own thing and then it's just in there. And then you can, I believe when something goes in there, you can send it to wherever, whatever transaction you need to.
Yeah, because it's just coming to your inbox and you have to assign it to whatever transaction you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, it's a little different way of doing business, but because of this last year, we're already emailing everything. So the nice thing is, for me, and I just did this over the last 30 minutes, I'm moving stuff into folders in my email. So I have kind of global access wherever I am. But that's limited on my phone because it's limited to whatever my setting is in my phone, 1 week, 2 weeks, 30 days. So you get beyond that, you're missing documents. This will be nice. It'll keep them all in one transaction, all in one place, and you can access it from your phone, laptop, at home, in the office. I see it could.
What's the app for the phone?
What's the app for the phone?
Yeah, there's a way to do zip forms on your phone through an app, but I have yet to download it.
I think it's just Zip Logic.
Okay. I thought there was, all right. They made it seem like there was.
You know I have it here. I don't use it much.
It's a Zipform mobile companion.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah, the mobile companion sounds like the one. Provides access to tools to create access transactions, templates, calendars, checklists, import contacts, manage your transactions on the go. But we'll just be getting that little guy and trying that today. We'll find out just how that works. Any questions for Morgan? I mean, it's really not rocket science. It will be a different way of managing your paperwork and doing things, but again, we've been all doing it through email. Now we'll just do it in this portal and it'll be one easy place to find everything. And if you haven't used the MLS Connect, setting up a contract, whether it's a listing or a sales contract, using the MLS Connect feature is really nice. You do need the MLS number for the property you're dealing with. But once you have that, it's going to fill in more fields than most of us fill in most days, tax IDs, things like that. I've always found the most important button in zip forms is the Activate IntelliCopy. And I discovered that years ago in a training. There's a licensing agreement between zip forms and PAR with the forms that they use. And when they arranged that contract years ago, Zip Forms wanted to make it very simple to copy all this information across all the forms. PAR came back and said, no, people won't be reading the forms and they're going to create mistakes and send them out blindly. So they came up with this authentication process that you have to hit Activate IntelliCopy. And you'll see it's in the top line of features, you know, like print, email, save as a PDF. But hit that button and it'll populate all the fields. So if you sit down and create something, now the trick to this, there's two ways to populate fields across all these multiple forms. My favorite is the PAR cover sheet. And you go in there and ask you who are the buyers, who's the seller, what's their address, cell phone, email. If you do nothing more than put their name and their email address in there, you're going to find it to be a huge time saver because now it creates a contact within that transaction. So if I'm selling a home to Morgan, I only enter her name one time and her email. I hit IntelliCopy. Her fields populate across all the forms completely the way I have them filled out. And when I go to do an e-sign, it'll pop up. It already knows, because I've designated her as buyer one, that here's something for buyer one. And it will put all her markers in all the forms other than the PDFs right where she needs to sign or initial. You can do each form separately, but why would you do that? So use the PAR cover letter or cover sheet, fill it out, and then open up any document, hit IntelliCopy, and it'll fill in all the forms, because it likes to put your name in there, but not your office or your, it leaves out about 70% of the stuff that you fill in. And I've dealt with plenty of frustrated people over the years going, oh my God, you know, I had to enter this on 4 different forms. No, you don't. Hit IntelliCopy, and that'll pre-populate all those forms off of that cover sheet. It's a super time saver and makes life awfully simple. So between the MLS Connect, you can also connect through RPR and pre-populate some of these forms. So depending if it's a listing that you're working on or a sale, between Bright and RPR, you can fill in all this stuff very simply just by using these connect features. And I'd recommend it because I just don't like doing things twice.
It only works really well if you don't have any, like if the transaction doesn't fall through. Because when you have to go back and like do another one for the same person, you have to go back and change everything. It's a pain in the tuchus.
Yeah, you know, I pretty much have resigned myself to just create a new transaction because, you know, you really have to pay attention if you're going to use an old transaction, because it brings through the oddest fields and fills them in, and you're going to trip over it time and time and time again. And I've saved them and I've edited them, and there are certain things.
I'll just delete the previous agreement of sale or something but I don't get out of a new transaction because I usually just use the person's name. It's not like an address that I'm using, but I'll just delete the old forms and start over. But that way I'm not creating a whole new transaction.
Yeah. And again, you know, but you have to be careful. There's just some lingering pieces of data, particularly if you use this cover sheet. There for a while, it had an error, and everything that came up with a settlement date of like March 24th. And it would default to that, and I could never unscrew that if I made a new transaction. It was coded in there somewhere. Once you're aware of it, you know, it's easy to change, but it's just annoying because, you know, we do these things because we're flying low and moving fast. And then if you have to remember to go in and make an edit on a simple field like that, because you changed it on the agreement, but it's on the cover sheet, it may override it. Too much of a hassle. So just be careful if you clone these things, copy them, or try and repurpose them. I just ditch them. There were 2 or 3 fields that would just really annoy me. Well, Morgan, I'd say you did okay.
I guess.
We'll have to have you do more things.
We'll find out soon enough, right? When we try to do it.
I'll be getting calls later.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying.